And we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hope everyone is having a good night. With me tonight, I have the one, the only, the Dagger.
Who dat?
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, basically, new phone, who dis? Clearly, this is not Dag.
This is definitely not Dagger.
Nope, definitely not. This guy is positive and likes Swugga.
Well,
Yay!
if you don't say the dagger, then it's not the dagger.
And we also have Free Guy, who will be joining us a little bit later. He's currently at a for his little snazzy bit. We've got catching up with Free Guy.
Yeah, we also have a possible surprise guest that we'll figure out
Eventually. And then we have me. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm DPK. Thanks for coming by the channel.
You have a name?
I do. I don't think I've actually ever introduced myself.
I mean, you're implying people wanted to know that you were on the show.
Yeah.
Everybody's basically here because of Fruit Guy.
Yes, Fruit Guy is the one that brings us all together, isn't that right?
We are contractually obligated to say that when we rehired him.
That checks out. And so it's been 2 weeks since we've done the Dan and Kyle Do Hollywood, so we've got a lot of catching up to do. Hi, Lady Cool.
Hi! I was about to see if you could give the reins over to Dagger for a second to come say bye to our guests.
Yeah, give me one quick second and I will be right back. Dagger, just go over what we've been doing. Why the break in the podcast. So yeah. I'll be right back.
Oh my God, guys! I have no supervision. What am I going to do with myself? Well, I can't do that because we're not. This is actually a visual show. Actually, I could do that because it's not a visual show. But, anyways, over the last couple of weeks, we haven't had a show in 2 weeks, but we both did our catching up on 3 months and looking 3 months ahead to what we were wanting to do. We also are going to be working with a mutual friend of mine, well, ours, I guess, but a friend of mine, Thunderwhack, on a mod series going forward, where we dive deeper into mods. We kind of gave the beginning of that whole thing late last week when we made an impromptu stream on farming mod sets. Excuse me. So we're going to be diving a lot deeper into mods going forward because it's something I'm definitely passionate about and DPK is okay at. So we definitely want to give more back, so to speak. We don't want it to just be a VOD or a stream. I wouldn't really call it a podcast. We're not actually making it a podcast. So today's show, since DPK isn't here currently, is going to be kind of fun. We have segment 1 coming up when he returns, and we'll talk about the dev Q&A. We'll go over a survey, and we'll kind of discuss the new thing that was just dropped on us today, the General Skywalker event, and how we feel about it, and how we feel about Swugga in its current state. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about what I think of this survey. So if anybody didn't see the survey, it was from it was posted in the Escape podcast. I guess I'll post a link in the chat. Hey Toyota. Here's the Here's the survey I'm referring to. So if you guys can feel free to follow along, the 3 people that are watching. So when I'm looking at this, it's like, how do you rate the overall health of Swugga? 440 responses. It looks like a sliver, maybe a couple percent said awesome, 8% said great, 21% said good, 20% said okay, 26% said mixed feelings. Looks like about 8% said poor, and a small percentage said garbage. So it looks like generally and on the whole, over half of the people who play this game or answered the survey, at least, it's the sample size, said the game is in a mixed feeling to good spot, which I think is probably about accurate. So, and then it's how do you enjoy each game mode? They talk about squad arena. Spoiler, smallest slice, very enjoyable. Next smallest slice, the next 2 small slices are entirely a chore or fairly enjoyable. Almost everyone is so to fairly enjoyable. I find it fairly enjoyable, but that's because I can take first. I know if I couldn't take first, I'd probably feel a lot differently about that. The meta has sucked ever since Jedi Revan came out.
Play the gift.
I hate you. If you're gonna be on the show, be on the show. If you're not gonna be on the show, don't be on the show. God damn it. Just kidding. I love you. I'm not allowed to yell at you. It's in our terms and conditions on the contract. I apologize. Fleet Arena. No one likes Fleet Arena except for the people who can take first. Territory battles. 60% of everyone thinks that it's an okay game mode, and they're probably think that it's fairly enjoyable to very enjoyable. Or wait, yeah, very enjoyable to fairly enjoyable, and they should all just quit the game. Well, the other people should just quit the game. They don't like it apparently. I want to know if CG answered this. Territory Wars is 80% enjoyable. Grand Arena, 75% enjoyable. Raids has the highest slice of mostly a chore to entirely a chore. It's because the rewards are garbage. Come on, CG. Stop forcing us to get top 10 in the Sith raid, please. Reward us based on the numbers we put up. There is no reason you should be able to score 30 million and not make top 10, or not get top 10 rewards for basically being able to complete an entire phase. So let's just kind of work on that, CG. Also, make the tank raid worlds not suck. Please and thanks. That's from everyone. Events are fine. No, it looks like 85%, 80% plus are just like, yep, they're fine. Fine to good. Zeta Crunch is a moderate problem. Yep. Omega Crunch is a bigger than moderate problem. Yep. The credit crunch is a problem up until about like 3 million, 3.5 million, and then if you don't interact with mods, you don't have a problem with it. People like myself who interact with mods on a daily basis never have credit. The gear crunch is a very big problem. I want to know who said not a problem, because apparently there's a sliver that said not a problem. 78% said that it was a very big problem. Surprised that number's as low as it is. The signal data crunch is not really a thing. It's not really a crunch, in my opinion. Looks like it's a very big problem, moderate problem. It looks like about 80 to 85% say it's a problem. I don't have my take on that one specifically. I don't have much of an opinion on much of the stuff that's been said here. I don't think signal data crunch. I don't think the signal data crunch is a problem, and I say that because I think it's Cantina energy that's a crunch, not the signal data itself. Me personally, I'm finishing up the Cantina, all my Cantina farms before I start on signal data. I have Gar's Action and Imperial Super Commando left to go. So I'm going to finish them before going on to Relics, because then I can just spend my entire time farming signal data. I think the problem with the signal data, I think the problem with the Relics is the gear, not the signal data. It's just deciding between signal data and tunes that is the crunch, not the signal data itself. So I think a lot of people may have answered based on that, because signal data actually has like a fine drop rate. it gets worse as you scale up to the higher tiers of the. I think there's 3 different ones. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think overall they're fine because it'll take you like 3 days to farm like a level 4 or 5, right? Like that's not like an unreasonable amount of time to farm like a gear piece. It's the gear you need to go with it that is the problem, and you have to not farm tunes in the meantime. So I think the Cantina Energy is the crunch, not the signal data. Quality of life is the next one. Time required per day is, yeah, a small problem to not a problem because there's nothing to do in the game. Yeah, I waffle back and forth because total time required per day is an unfortunate way to phrase it. Time required during the day of territory battles is way too high because it's like 2 hours. And then it's your fleet climb, then it's your arena climb, then it's your fleet climb, right? So you're looking at like 3.5 to 4 hours a day in the game during territory battles because territory battles takes forever. When there's no territory battles, you log in for 3 minutes, do your territory wars battle, or collect your energy and then get out. So I don't think there's a problem with time required except during TB. And and it depends on whether you view that as a problem. I don't think it's a problem spending the time doing TB. I just hate doing it. Quality of life. Requirements to play at a specific time. This one's kind of polarized. 13% say not a problem. I'm guessing that those are the people who don't interact with Arena. 23% say a small problem. Those are people who probably like interact a little bit with Squad Arena but not Fleet. 22% say a moderate problem. About 19% say a big problem, and 21% say a very big problem. I think it's closer to a moderate problem to a big problem because we can actually move our payouts now. But the fact that we still have to climb for an hour for payout is kind of like laughable at this point. I think like at this point on a ladder, we should be able to get rewards like weekly based on how well we did over that week instead of competing against the same 30 people repeatedly for first every single day. I think that there's a better way to handle that. However, I don't think it's a problem. It's just the time investment that you agreed to do. I think people who don't interact with Arena are better off in that sense. They usually give you 24 hours to do everything, except for raids. The Sith raid's like now an hour long, and you can sim the pit and just post a 0 in the hat raid and let everyone in your guild solo it if they. So I don't think there's a huge problem with playing at specific times because you can pick a guild that has raids that fit your time, and you don't have to interact with arenas if you don't want. Although both arenas are specifically, in my opinion, one of the bigger problems with this game going forward because it requires so much engagement. Panic farming is a third of the people say a very big problem, 22% say a big problem, 21% say a moderate problem, 12% say a small problem, and 10% say not a problem. Again, that 22% that is down there at a small problem to not a problem are people who probably are not dealing with the meta, which is fine. And then there's 21% who are probably trying but are like a meta behind. And the people who say it's a very big problem are the people who are trying to take first every day in a week. That's my opinion on it. I don't think panic farming is a huge deal. I think if you're going to panic farm, you're going to do it. But again, it's a decision you're making to take first. It kind of ties into the playing at specific times. You are committing to panic farming, and it's not a necessary thing that you have to do. Power creep is a very big problem, 49%. A big problem, 19.5%. A moderate problem, 21%. A small problem, 6%. And not a problem is like 4%. So the people who say not a problem should probably just not have an opinion.
That is probably a good thing to say. I am back.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here, and I'm going to talk about Marvel Strike Force for a quick second, because Marvel Strike Force has shown the ability to create power creep in unique ways, where it's clever. This team does a thing that is hard for these teams to beat because of X, Y, and Z. And then about a year later, they make a free-to-play counter to that meta. So that way, their power creep can continue to creep, but in clever ways. They're not hard-coded to beat the previous meta. They're just like, we're really good at doing this because this is good. And I think Swugga is like, Revan has to be hard-coded to beat Traya. Darth Revan has to be hard-coded to beat Jedi Revan, right? Like you have to have blatant power creep to just crap on all these other tunes, because that's kind of how CG has decided that they wanted this to work. And I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. It just kind of is what it is at this point. But anybody who thinks that the power creep is not like one of the two biggest problems in this game is probably wrong. That's just my personal opinion, because I think power creep behind the gear crunch is the second worst part of this game. Characters take too long to farm. 39% say a big problem. 27% say, well, 39% say a very big problem. 26.9% people say a big problem. 21.6% people say a moderate problem, and the rest of the people are probably wrong. Characters take too long to farm when they're from hard nodes, but that's just from hard nodes. I think CG needs to, like, I don't want to say up the drop rate, because that just sounds very self-serving. But there's no reason that a tune like Vander, Chewbacca, or Lobot, or like should take 3 to 6 months to farm. Like, zero reason. Oh yeah. I 100% agree with you, Toyota. It's the new content problem, right? The new content we're getting is reskinned content and new power creep. Congratulations on your new content. Lack of developer communication is 44% a big problem, 44% a very big problem, 20% a big problem, 21% a moderate problem, 10% a small problem, and like 7% not a problem. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on this. Is it a problem? Yes. But I think that there are way bigger problems than dev communication. And that's kind of just where I stand on it. Character overcomplexity is 18% say a very big problem, 18% say a big problem, 28% say a moderate problem, 17% say a small problem, 19% say not a problem. Not a problem. Overcomplexity. Character overcomplexity is only a problem if you don't play this game competitively. And if you don't play this game competitively, you probably aren't. Well, you might be answering this survey, but I feel like the Discord servers that this was placed in are not filled with people playing casual. So if you log in once a day when you poop to get your 600, or not even to get your 600, right? You just log in to use some energy. Then yeah, kit complexity is a thing to you. If you play in TB and TW, kit complexity should not be a thing. The kits are usually pretty straightforward, and while they may be keyword soup and be like just stupid long, kits are generally not too bad. It allows for a lot of theory crafting, which I think is a really good thing for them. I think kit complexity is not a real problem. I think there was a couple more.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Toyota mentioned this. Lack of content is 73% say a very big problem, 15% say a big problem, and the other 20% of you are just wrong and probably like don't care about the game. Yep, lack of content is a staggering problem. The last new content we got in this game was December 2018, guys. Almost a year ago. 10 months ago. 11 months ago. 10 months ago? Yeah, 10 months ago. The last new content we got was 10 months ago. If that's not a big problem, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we need new places to use our toys, as Dagger would
Yep.
say. I'm back.
Yes,
Sorry about
yes.
that. Had to wish my best friend. I do.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. The three
But
biggest problems what are the top 3 problems in the game? They literally said on this, you can only pick, if you pick more than one once, they won't count any of your answers. Right? So they're like, so the number 1 reason is 5 points, number 2 is 3 points, number 3 is 2 points. So we'll go with the number 1 problem. So the number 1 problem, if you add all 3 of these together, is no new content. It's new content. Or the gear crunch. The gear crunch is number 1. Content is number 2. Time
or lack
required is 3.
thereof content is more like it.
Sure. Like the top 3. Okay, so I missed one. The top 3 in order are gear crunch, time, money for value, low value for the money you spend, and time in game.
Yeah.
How excited are you for upcoming light side GOTB? 38% say somewhat excited. 37% say don't care. 8.4% say very excited. So basically, there's like 45% of the people in this game that are excited, and 55 that aren't, and 45% of them should not be encouraging G to make the TV. How excited are you on an upcoming raid? Yeah, no surprise. 80+% very excited. Yes, new raids, new content. How excited are you
Yes.
for vehicles? Somewhat
And
excited. 50% are happy. 50% are just like meh.
I'm excited
I don't
about
care.
the battle logs and replays. That's
Well, if you make vehicles use my existing characters, I'm happy. If you make vehicles use something else like ships, I'm far less happy because you already said ships. You already told us you don't give a shit about ships until you did the thing you did today. But how excited are you for the upcoming battle logs and replays? 72% say they're excited, and 28% of people should be shot. Sorry, maybe not shot. Should quit the game. Darkside Geonosis territory battle is
just a reskin.
40% say mostly just a reskin. 26% say almost entirely a reskin. Yeah, like 80% say because it is a reskin. Weird. Compared to previous pre-championship format, Grand Arena championships are 10% say much better. 10% say don't know. 20% say worse. Say much worse. 20% say worse. 30% say about the same. 20% say better. It's the same. It's better in the sense that it's more competitive. It's worse in the sense that I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's basically like to sum it up. I'm facing rosters that are more similar to my own, which means I have to try. And whether you like free wins or hate or like
Yeah, I was gonna
competition,
say we like where our rosters are. We were blowing people out in the
Yep.
original GA because at our specific GP, we had much better rosters. Now we're facing tougher opponents, so it's quote unquote tougher opponents. But
Yeah.
I don't mind GAC. Like currently constantly makes fun of me because saying that you get the best luck of anybody in GA matchups. I'm like, I don't really get that good of luck.
I'm just surprised you outmod your opponents.
I mean, when you work on mods, I'll be damned, they actually start outmodding your opponents. I mean,
The hardest thing about GA for me now is if I get anybody with relics. That's the one thing that really hurts me.
Yep.
yeah.
In terms of producing even matchups, GAC matchmaking is 36% say okay, 25% say good, 15% say poor, 17% say very poor, 7% say very good, and 2% have no opinion. People are saying poor or very poor. I would assume are the people who suck at this game or are very bad at knowing proper counters
Yeah.
or don't
Or
interact
don't.
with mods.
Or don't do mods.
That's just my assumption. I think almost everyone I've talked to, from casual to competitive, they really love GA or they really like free rewards, right? Like you either
Don't
love.
forget the people that don't read kits.
We talked about that earlier. Or I talked about that earlier. All right, now here's the one that really got. These are the next two that really got me, or next three. In 6 months, I think the game will be percent say better. That seems very high. 7.5% say they don't know or don't have an opinion. 34% say worse, and 41% say about the same. Yeah, 75% saying worse or about the same are probably correct. This goes back to no new content. And you don't let us play with our toys. And
Yeah.
all your price points suck. Right? Like, that's why I don't think the game will be better. I think the game will probably be about the same. There'll be some peaks for excitement for a new raid.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'll be interesting.
Episode 9 will hopefully bring an influx of new players. How long have you been playing Swugga? 49% of people that took this poll over 3 years. 23% a year to a year and a half. Or 2 years to 2 to 3 years. 22% a year to 2 years. So basically, the people who are answering this have been playing for, 90% of them have been playing for at least a year. How much on average do you spend? 27% of them are vegans. Let's see. About 10% are 250 plus a month. About 8% are 100 to 250. 12% are 25 to 100. 20% are 5 to 25, and 31% are 0 to 5. That sounds like a correct spread. Half the people that play this are minnows to dolphins that CG doesn't give a shit about. 27% of the people are free to play, which CG definitely doesn't give a shit about, and they milk the other 10 to 15. What is your GP? 8% say 5
Go.
plus. 35% say 4 to 5.
Why?
3 to 4 is 22%. 2 to 3 is 21%. 1 to 2 is 10%, and 0 to 1 is some percentage of
Aren't you
people that
watching
shouldn't
Planet
answer the
Earth?
survey.
No.
Where's your phone?
Where do you usually place in Squad Arena?
Oh my god. What do
Well,
you want me to do about
some
it?
number of
You can't
people say
watch
don't
Planet
know
Earth.
varies
Go lay
greatly.
in your bed.
22%, 23% say 1 to
What do you
5.
want, Lily?
8% say 6 to 20. About 28% say
On
21 to
what? Your phone
99.
is dead.
A third of the people say 100 to 500, and 6%
No.
say 500 plus. So that gives you a demographic for who they were doing. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on a lot of those, but we need new content. We need to play with our toys, and your price points are garbage. You need to improve. So that's kind of, I kind of went over that. DPK, you can kind of take it from here if you're here. He's not here.
I'm here.
All right,
I'm
continuing.
here.
All right, I was gonna
Um,
say, I guess I'll be continuing the monologue. If you want to start going over the dev Q&A.
yes, we've we've gone over the poll. It's I think it's a load of bunch of bull. Um, my only gripe about it is that the gear crunch, just got a whole lot worse with relics. I mean, let's be honest, that's what this is. Just another way to squeeze us for gear. So Dev Q&A was the second, so last Wednesday. Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yes. So, They broke it up into 5 different or 6 different categories. They did general questions, economy, content, relics, quality of life, and then mechanics. The mechanics questions were kind of silly, if you ask me. Hold on one second. What?
Mommy said put all the clothes on the first side.
Come do that then. So Dev Q&A. The mechanics questions they answered with the mechanics was kind of silly, if you ask me. So let's see. Let's general questions. Anything to take away? Much less. They're working on features to help newer players grow quicker and reach endgame faster. I don't know how I feel about that just yet. You know, a little bit of catch-up mechanics is fine, but depending on what they do, it could hurt the game quite a bit, if you ask me. What do you think? What do you think about that, Dagger?
Can you repeat the question?
I mentioned that in the last Q&A, they mentioned they were working on features to basically get newer players to catch up mechanics.
Isn't that called Jedi Revenant Geos?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Depending on what they do, it might hurt the game some more. But yeah, Geos and Jedi Knight Revan being extremely easy to get early game. What do you need? What more do you need? They did mention, where is it? They were going to try to change legendary and journey characters, their cadence, and basically make them a static event that when you finally get the requirements, you can just go do it. I'm trying to see how they worded it. They talked about the Kyber promotion being misaligned in Division 1 and 2. Dagger can proclaim the anger to that, missing it by 9 points.
Yeah, I got 4th in a rodeo.
Yes, you did. I saw that.
That means 3 people got more screwed than I did.
That is very true. That is very true.
To be fair, Division 1 and 2 are the biggest divisions, so it's the hardest for the people to make Kyber because of the way that it is set up.
Yeah, and
I understand that. I get it, but we need more divisions at the top end. You need a 4 point. You need like a 5.5 plus, a 4.45 to 5, and a 4 to 5. You know what I mean? Like you just need more divisions at the top.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple buddies who just crossed into 4.1 into Division 1, and they're 4.6 fighting 5.1. Like they're just getting roster slapped by people who spend way more money.
That's really it really sucks.
After you get over like 4.5, 4.6, almost everyone's top 80 GP is the same.
Yeah.
So you just start getting like roster slapped by people with more depth. I just did that in round 2. I just like depth slapped my opponent.
And that
I'm at 4.5
really,
and he was at 3.9. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
I just depth slapped him. He put his good teams on defense and like he was trying to kill my gear 11 with gear 8. That's why it took him so many tries to get through like my teams. he had to place 8 teams, but had 12
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, at least when I crossed into Division
or
2,
14, right? Like,
I had 15 teams, so I came up just barely short.
I mean, I get it though, right? Like the
Yeah,
the the 8 teams is a massive jump. Division, you should add another division at the top, and then you should make the division that's 3.8 to 4.5 have 17. That would
yeah,
go a
dude. Like,
long
so
way towards making
so
matchmaking better.
yes, making Division 1 set 8 teams would be better in my opinion. Not having Division 1 and 2 place 8 teams. I feel like if they were to lower it to 7 a lot, maybe Division 2 would be actually a little more, even more competitive, because people wouldn't be as scared to cross the threshold, maybe. Because most people that were, when Grand Arena ended and they were like in that range of like 3.3 to 3.6, they were ready. They were gearing the characters and teams they needed to have 14 when they hit 4 million GP. That is what I did. I technically had 15 when I crossed 4 million. And it kind of screwed over. Yeah, I mean, I know it screwed me over. I'm still struggling to, get a team that that last team, so I can stop putting trash on defense. So it is what it is. I feel like there should definitely be some tweaking of the divisions. Just a little bit. Not terrible. Like I said, seven on in Division 2 and 8 in Division 1, I think would be a little more fair.
Yeah. I think we should now move on. We kind of beat this dead. I kind of went over some stuff because you had a thing to do.
Oh, I
So,
want to bring up
I was
one.
talking about GA. We beat GA.
Oh yeah. So the next question that really stuck out in my mind was part of the economy section. The guy's question was, why did you choose to put signal data on nodes without character shards as well? All this does is create a further divide between new and old players. You have to choose between farming shards for much needed characters or farming data for relics. CG Top Hat I actually kind of liked his answer because I completely agree with it. I'm going to read his answer real quick, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. This is intentional, as we did not want low-level accounts to farm resources they cannot use at that time in their life cycle. There's an argument to be made that it helps them prepare once they get to Gear 13. But lower-level players are heavily focused on resources they need now and not end-game goals initially. Why not put them on nodes with character shards? In short, we wanted you to make that hard choice. Do you continue to grow your roster, or do you double down on the characters you have? Is a fundamental choice you have to make for progressing in Swagga.
Yeah. This goes back to what I said. I've said this before. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or here or somewhere else. But we had to choose between mods and characters. Eventually, they'll add Relic 8 through 14, and then they'll get their own energy.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy Reigns.
it like I said on the Escape podcast Friday, I agree with it. This is that they nailed the nail on the head.
It's shitty,
Yes.
but they're not wrong for doing it.
Oh, absolutely, exactly.
They didn't put these on hard nodes to make you choose between gear and signal data.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus,
someone
they did
you
us
can't
one
you
small
can't tell
favor.
me unless you're a brand new Kraken, you are not. And I don't care what anybody says, you are not gonna have the required gear to actually even put into relics when you're early game, plain and simple. I've gone through a ton of gear that I've built up for almost 4 years. So you can't tell me someone that's brand new into the game should be able to keep up with me in relics. You're not going to have the gear you're going to need to do this stuff. And I think it should stay that way. When you've been playing for a year or two and you've built up all your useless tactical challenge gear, by all means, blow it all. But until
I'm
you
going to
get to
touch on the chat a little bit because we had a couple of comments a while ago. Well, Ray Rock, yeah, with the requirements you're going under, but that's because you didn't focus your roster correctly to begin with. So you're under because you're now catching up 3 years later to the people who have been playing for a year and a half, right? You're like a year behind everybody else. And that's why you're going under. I mean,
Wait,
yeah, and then Ariok, you're right. Let the anger flow. Nope, I'm not getting him. I could. I'm short on Shock T and Mace Windu, but I'm kind of in the point where CLS will beat this new team. And if he doesn't, I just won't take first. It'll only be like 35-ish in my shard. Maybe more. There'll probably be a couple non-General Skywalker teams in my top 50.
there's
Maybe
there's going to
three.
be a couple for in my shard. I actually got to take second today. That was nice. I was able to
Nice.
piggyback off of some of the shock nuke teams that float around my shock and Padme nuke teams that float around my shard. That and hitting our unfriendlies.
Dude, I love the Grievous nuke team. Anybody who uses the Grievous nuke team, please leave your team in on defense. CLS kills it in 20 seconds.
I wish more people used the Grievous nuke team. I have to face Padme and.
Padme's easy. You just switch to the Triumvirate plus Darkside Bastila plus Thrawn. You walk over it.
Well, yeah. The Padme and then the Shock T clones nuke team.
Well, yeah, that one again. You just fractured General Anakin and killed the entire.
But you know what? Out of this news of General Anakin, I'm glad, because you know why? I can break up my speeds, my 2 fastest speed sets now, and make my characters much faster.
Yeah, I'm kind of over this speed meta.
I'm absolutely over it. It's absolute trash. And okay, he's here. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to finally, be able to redistribute my 2 fastest sets somewhere else, to be honest.
Yeah.
So there, I'm
Hold on.
I'm happy.
Hold on. One thing. So, just to kind of finish up on the dev Q&A, they didn't tell us anything important.
Yep.
And the biggest news came out today. And yeah, they basically didn't tell us anything. There was a couple funny anecdotes that came from it. But basically, the TLDR of it is, no, they're not going to fix any of the crunches we have. They have no intention of fixing the crunches that we have. 2, they think relics are good because people interacted with them, because they're making us interact with them. We can't ignore them. So they think that means that we love them. And they're out of touch with their community because they think we're excited for Lightside TB. The long-awaited Lightside TB. No, stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, I think that's pretty much sums up the dev Q&A, at least from me. Now we're gonna get into the the segment that usually is occupied by Fruit Guy, but we'll go to apropos for now.
Yes. Welcome, apropos woman. Apropos.
Uh-oh. Do we need to actually...
Bueller.
Oh, no, this is because you suck at Discord. Remember we had this problem with Ladypool every time she joins, because every time she tries, she can't talk.
What? Back out apropos and rejoin. And try it now. I removed the Padawan. It was the streaming crew that we gave.
See, you say that. Try again, apropos, please. Leave and come back. You're going to have to gut these permissions, DK, and then rebuild them. Well, when you set it up, you had it set up a specific way, and then when you tried to fix it, you just made it worse.
No, I thought, well, deleting the Ladypool role.
No, it's when you made the Ladypool role. All right, can you talk apropos?
He lit up.
Yeah.
There we go. Welcome, buddy. Sorry about that.
I don't know if it was you or my computer, so I just gave up on the computer and grabbed it.
It's because I suck at Discord. Don't worry. It's
I
all me.
specifically, after the last time it failed, I specifically went into this channel and gave you the ability to speak. And that's why you can apparently speak now.
Well, then, let me switch to the better microphone, and let me not try to be literally two voices at one time, and make this better.
No, it's fine, DPK. We just need to rework the permissions.
Yeah.
No, it just had to do with you had like 8 or 9 different permissions, and yeah. Although this might be apropos at this point. Because it says he's talking, but I can't.
Okay, that's it. My computer is also in the midst of death, so let's just try to avoid that, and I'll stop interrupting.
No, it's fine.
Working.
Okay, so where? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, because you're. I don't want to do the one of us thing, but we all have a server of a bunch of us friends where we just kind of hang out and kind of talk crap to one another. So we're all at different points in the game. So just kind of give everybody a background on where you are and your account.
Well, sorry, you'll have to give me a minute. I pressed the wrong button on my phone and I killed the sound from other people. I did a good job. Nope. Oh, nuts. Hang on. I pulled the DP.
We are so good at this game. Feel free to tell us how good we are at this game in chat.
Yes. Can we get some F's in chat for apropos?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, totally pulled a Kyle there. Sorry about that.
All right, welcome
No,
back.
it's all good, apropos. And for those of you who don't know, it's apropos Wooin. Tell them the name of your account too, because it's not quite the same.
Okay, well, generally speaking, I actually just prefer apropos, but somebody out there in YouTube land already had that name, so I go by apropos Wooin on YouTube. I've got a little tiny channel. The last time I looked, I've got 45 subscribers. More power to any of you out there who are there. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Grand Arena streaming, but I actually started the channel specifically to help out my guild and just whoever had a question that needed an answer where a picture wasn't going to be enough. Like mods or some people were asking me for account tips back when it was simpler to do that kind of stuff. So I just started off doing that. Now I do Grand Arena often as possible, but every so often I try to do more than that. And yeah, I'm not even sure where I started encountering everybody that is part of this show and the generic random server that we're on.
I mean,
Well, that just boils down to we all are friends who.
yeah, I was gonna say
Well,
we all make our rounds. Like I know apropos through RSG.
I know DPK through murking with him at
Yeah,
in an old guild when he unfortunately had to step away from the game for a month out of that wasn't his own choice.
yeah. I was temporarily removed from society.
It's there are
Basically,
so many ways to take that.
Basically, I think we were on a voice chat, and it came up that there was a fairly high percentage that you were going to go through something that I went through recently, and we just kind of like talked about that after like 3 or 4 times talking about it. It's like, hey, well, there's a bunch of us other like IRL friends on this server from like Swugga, and I don't want to keep coming to this voice chat. And I think that's kind of how
Yes.
this happened.
Well, lack of sensors help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the game. I've been playing the game since second day after launch. I could have actually been playing when it was in beta testing because being in Canada is kind of has some perks, but I didn't. I didn't play very hard in the beginning at all, but I
I
know
don't
that
think many of
Jedi
us
Training
did.
Rays. Yeah, no, it was just a fun little game. I mean, there wasn't that much to do. There was, no protection, no mods, 3 times per day, no simming,
Yeah, three
no
times per day.
auto.
One x speed.
Yeah, yeah, like definitely feeling like I should be sitting on a porch right now, sitting in a
Get off
rocking
my
chair, old
yawn
manning it.
or my lawn,
Oh,
not my yawn.
absolutely, man. I look forward to the days when I can afford to have a lawn so I can yell at people to get off of it. So I've been playing this game forever. My original account, day 2 account, actually was at 4.7 million the last time I saw it. No longer have that account. It was down to the final things left to farm in the game: Malik, um, Wat Tambor, and Shakti. I talked to the guy. I'm like, hey, dude, I hope you're like actually going to nail this Skywalker thing. I mean, I lined it up pretty solidly. Unfortunately, Shakti drops like, well, she doesn't drop like a Streetwalker, but that's for sure. It it's pretty bad. So he's only got her at 6 stars. However, I have a 2.7 million account that I started in February of last year, just for the fun of it, just to play through with some people I'd played with in a previous game who I don't know where they ended up, but they didn't stay in this game. And I've been having fun with that. It was more fun than the big account. Like, I mean, you can go and work your way up to having everything, but then it's just like if you're not throwing money at the game, there's not as much to do. So
Yeah.
I said goodbye to the account that was ready for everything and decided to just have fun. So
Well,
now
that
I'm
makes
sitting at
sense.
2.7 million. Yeah, I've almost got all the characters. I mean, aside from the brand new one, I'm almost ready for Darth Revan. And in turn, once I have him, I will be ready for Malik immediately after. I'm doing a lot better in ships than I ever did on my main account. And I mean, everybody who is not spending money should have given up on Arena by now if you're dropping the way I was. I actually took an absolutely strange and apropos turn. Decided to switch out my arena team. I got sick of Revan. I mean, everybody runs Revan unless you're Darth Revan. Um, Unless you've got crazy relics on people now, and you're running the absolute most ludicrous team you can think of, just because you had money to spend on 7 red starring your crazy characters. So I ran Wampa for a bit, and people hit me down, and now I'm running Young Lando and L3, and I'm currently sitting at rank now 3,247.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Good luck asking me why.
I don't. Yeah, nice.
It's honestly, it's the complete. It's a very apropos thing to do. Why do it properly when you can do it improperly and have fun dropping it down?
Yeah.
It was more fun than playing Revan. I'm having more
Oh
fun
God.
struggling with two
Yeah,
characters that should
I'm.
never be
I
on a
am
team
totally
solo.
over.
Yeah, I intentionally skipped the Jedi Revan meta. I just used
Yeah,
CLS, and then Darth Revan came out, which I thankfully got free to play. I'm not tooting a horn or anything. I'm just saying at that time, like, I wasn't really. I, I know where you're going with the arena thing because I definitely had times where it's like I'm going to climb as high as I can with CLS. But thanks to my arena shard being amazing and me having having two really good crit damage sets, right? Like, and one good speed set, and unlocking C3PO the first time,
Yeah.
right? Like, so all of that stuff combined allowed me to climb here and there in the Jedi Knight revenue. I didn't take first every day. I was usually top 20, top 10. But I kind of just did my 5 and moved on. I never really refreshed. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, dude. Arena burnout is real.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's the same reason why I gave up the big account. That's ridiculous. And why did I ever give it up? If I want to have fun, I need to make sure I choose the fun choices. Uh, I have more fun farming the characters than I do farming the same gear piece a billion times to barely make a dent in what I need to
Oh,
do.
yeah. I just talked about this with one of our friends, Quinlan Voss, today about I'm finishing Gar Saxon, who's like 12 out of 100, and then I'm going to finish ISC, who's like 30 out of 85, and then I'm done with Cantina, and then oh yay, I get to farm relics, right? And I have like 6 hard nodes left and 5 fleet nodes left. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Like, that grind, man. The grind of farming things that, like, and I don't have to farm Gar Saxon, I don't have to farm ISC, but that sure doesn't make me nearly as depressed as farming relics, because I don't have the gear to make them anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. I haven't done a single relic or Gear 13 on this account. Like,
Well,
account is sitting directly at the spot where I need to choose where I'm going in the future. Great idea for content, and I just need to like figure out how to do it and
great idea
do
for
it.
content if you can ever motivate yourself to produce content.
Well, it's not the motivation; it's the actual follow through. I'm definitely
Oh, okay.
motivated, but if you watch my other videos, it can take me forever to put them out, or even fix my screen grabs for the initial front video.
Yeah.
It's I don't mean to, but I mean I got 4 kids. I'm married. I work more than 40 hours a week. I'm trying to choose to not be on my phone as much, and by giving up an account, I'm definitely opening up more time to actually pay attention to my family, and that's kind of important.
That's overrated. Swuggle won't be around forever, but your family will.
This is true.
It checks out, right?
Yeah, checks out. uh, so tell us what you enjoy about the game. Are you more PvE or PvP? Like, tell us a little bit more about like what you
Community.
enjoy about the game.
Honestly, it's the people. What am I gonna have more fun talking to people about? The fact that I hit auto in GOTB, or the fact that I'm dropping myself in arena like a rock for no apparent reason?
Yeah, like when
Which
you said
conversation is more fun?
when you said I put Lando in L3 into arena, I'm like, really? Who whiffed? And you're like, no, I put L3 and Lando into arena. I'm like, in fleet because their ship's pretty good. No, I put Lando in L3 into. And like this is basically what happened. I was just like, "What?" And
I
then you
kind of want to
posted a
see.
screenshot.
I kind of want to see where the activity in my shard actually ends, because I'm damn near launch shard, and I think it would be kind of interesting to see where basically nobody just
Well,
participates anymore.
before you got into shard chat, you made top 20, right?
Yeah, I've been making top 20 for going on. It's the 10th month, so almost 8 months now. So I've been top 20 for
So
8
for
months.
7 or 8 months, the activity in your shard tops out at the top 20.
Or anybody below the top 20 doesn't have the team available to actually beat you.
No, that's not funny, Ian. Sorry, apropos, that's not funny. Let me make fun of Kyle, goddammit.
But yeah,
Well,
I have a feeling that there's so recently like a 2.6 million account just randomly showed up with a Gear 13 Malik, and we're just like, where the hell did this guy come from? Like, he's 2.6 million GP, and he's got a Gear 13 Malik, Sith Trooper, HK, Basti, and Darth Revan, and I'm like, so wait, what?
see, that's kind of what I want to do. I haven't chosen which path I'm going to take to be more powerful. I've got every green plus that you can drool over sitting in that finisher corner,
Yeah,
but I haven't done it yet.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing he just decided to wail on Darth Revan, and all of a sudden, or at least on the second go, like after taking a pretty huge break, and just come back or something. I don't know. It was weird. He hasn't seen top 50 in 2 weeks though.
Fruit guy,
Hey, it's
how are you?
possible if you got it.
Sorry, I'm going to cut the fruit guy real quick. Fruit guy, how are you doing with your account?
Well, things are going pretty good. I'm actually Malik ready now.
Nice.
Aw.
Just in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, I basically stopped all tune farming for about the last 2 weeks, and I had put a Zeta on mission like a month or so ago, just to help that team out. And I recently got her to gear 11 just like in the last, I think, like 3 days. I got Zalbar to gear 12 a couple days ago. Cander's to gear 12 in the last week or so. Karth has been gear 11 for a little while. So everybody that needs to be gear 11 or better are there. And so yeah, Karth is gear 11 with the Zeta. Canderous is gear 12. Nasty Basty's gear 12 with the Zeta. HK's gear 12 with the Zeta. Good Basila's gear 12 with the Zeta. Jolie's gear 12 with the Zeta. Mission's gear 11 with the Zeta. And Zalbar's gear 12 with the Zeta. So they're all ready for that. I actually finished all of my Night Sisters that I'm going to take to gear 12 in the last month or so.
Nice.
Nice.
The only one that is not gear 12 right now is Initiate, and she will be getting I don't want to say the Karth treatment because she's not even going that far.
I was gonna say,
She's currently
put her at gear 8 and just let her go.
Yeah, she's been gear 8 for a while and doesn't even have any mods on her. So she's going to stay there for a long time.
I have a quick question for you and apropos. Are you guys going to get General Skywalker?
I can do
Who
tier
that new
1.
player? Who this new player?
How do you get a player in your pocket?
No, I don't think
have
any of
any
us are going to
Brad
get
money
him.
left.
I
Yeah,
could
looking
spend,
over those
but why?
requirements, I'm just so far away. I mean, even on my main account. Looking back on my alt account, I've had all my first order gear 12. Well, my main first order team, which is crew, Kylo Ren, Faust, first order officer, and first order executioner. I spent a few days farming the stuff, and I got First Order Executioner to Gear 13 with a level 1 relic on him. Got that done before GA started, so I'd have that.
Nice.
And that has been a surprisingly good team on defense for me. At that, because my alt is only 1.3 million, so.
That's a big, just middle finger to all the little guys down there.
until his opponents just like wallet slap him with Darth Revan.
Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, think about it. So,
to quote our friend Brainkill, to quote our friend Brainkill, who's 1.5 million, he fought a guy who had like Gear 13 Darth Revan and Gear 13 Jedi Revan. He just like, yeah, I just got wallet slapped, and I just like lost it, dude. Like,
I remember that. That was hilarious. I remember when I hopped in. That was what that was 2 weeks ago.
It was the last week of the last GAC.
That's right.
So like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
dude, that was funny, and it was in the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, I hope it, because he'd been saying like that whole week, I hope I don't face this guy. I hope I don't face this guy, and that's exactly what he got. He's like, what do I even do? I think Dagger, to quote Dagger, have fun.
What?
I think you said just have fun.
Essentially, I had the same thing happen on my main the last week of the last GC when relics were in that week. Basically, I just got slapped around like the fresh meat and
Hey,
didn't even come close to winning a battle.
Nice because you're sweeter than apple pie. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't even come close to winning a round. That last week. Yeah, not even close.
Sorry.
During relic. Darth
I remember
teams.
I remember the
Malik,
conversations.
Just like it was just, and also the reason I got my Fox to Gear 13 with the relic on him on my alt is because I faced a First Order team that had a Gear 13 Fox with a level 5 relic on it, and I was thinking, yeah, I'll go in there with my Treya, isolate First Order officer, and just go to town. No, I got my fucking face smashed in. Like,
that Fox just skull fucked you. Just
Fox did his little push attack, the basic on Treya, then did his execute attack, and Treya was gone. Fucking 2 more hits, and like Sign was gone, and Nihilus was like, I just don't have enough health, and it was just a raw. It was a. I raffled myself. I mean, just because it was so ridiculous. So
oh my.
That's why I did that on the alt, just because I was like, okay, nobody's going to have that, and even at a low relic level, that'll be an amazing defensive team. And so far, these first 2 rounds in Grand Arena this first week have ended with the exact same results for my on the alt. I placed my First Order team in the front on one section. They got attacked 1 to 2 times. They couldn't be beat. The other front section got beat. Then the back team got got 1 attack, and they couldn't be beat. And I mean, same exact results the first 2 rounds so far. So we're going to ride the First Order on the alt until I just get wallet stomped like Brainkill has.
yeah. Yeah. So we don't have a lot more to talk about from that outside of like.
Oh,
those requirements for General Anakin.
Oh,
right?
By the way, guys, if you
those
didn't know,
requirements.
General Skywalker's coming to the game. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Who's that? I've never heard of that character before.
It sounds like she's gonna be OP.
He's actually from
She?
episode 9. We're just getting a preview.
Yeah,
Right, Rise of
definitely.
Skywalker. We're getting General Skywalker, right? We're
Yeah.
getting the guy who's going to be like the main character in episode 9.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, we didn't say spoiler alert, guys. Sorry, spoiler alert. This is
Oh.
Crap.
this is straight from Lucasfilm. Sorry, we didn't say spoiler alert. My bad.
You know, we are close personal friends with George.
Yeah.
So
Wait, who?
we get those inside details.
We're basically the Sid Hartman of Star Wars. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Close
my
personal
question
friend
is-
of mine.
Who's the fanboy who had cancer of the group?
Who's?
Oh wow, that got aggressive fast.
Wow, that got really dark apropos. I
Uh,
don't know. That's yikes.
Have you ever seen the movie Fanboys?
Yes.
No.
Oh, well then it's not nearly as dark as it sounds. Sorry.
Uh,
So yeah,
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, I got to sign off. I'll see y'all next week.
take it easy for you guys.
all right, dude. Take it easy, buddy.
Have fun, man.
So yeah, General Skywalker's the new epic confrontation. It's called Clash on Camino. Yay. It's got 4 tiers as opposed to the 2 tiers that Malik had. The first tier, by the way, you have to
Well,
be
it
at least
has
level
3.
85.
It technically has 3 because they give you the units for one of them.
But so
But
I'm
sure that they're giving
curious
us the
that
units for one of them
I'm
to stop us from being able to do it.
I was gonna
Right.
say
I'm pretty sure the one that they're
the
giving
tier
us units
3
for is like, you guys can just stop cheesing our events right now.
It's gonna take
No, because like they thought that it would take us Gear 11. They used the same verbiage, like Gear 11 plus to pass Darth Revan. Turns out you need 2 Gear 12s. Everybody else can just not even. Right? Like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I have a shardmate that got Darth Revan with Gear 12 Darkside Bastila, like Gear 11 HK, and like everybody else at like 7-star level 1 Gear 1. I mean, it took him a bunch of attempts, but you just moved his best mods and just went to town.
Yeah.
That sounds like a challenge.
But he just didn't want to level these characters up because he was free to play and wanted to stay as lean as possible and not put any resources whatsoever. I get it. I understand where he was coming from. But
I did
CG
that
was
with
just
Ray.
yeah. Well, you can do that with Ray now because you don't need the vets at gear anything because Finn solos it.
Yeah, or
So-
even Gear 11.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Finn solos it at like gear 11, which you're going to need Finn for the team that JTR is a part of.
Yeah.
So there's no real reason to not gear up your Finn, which I actually love that they did that to Finn, and then they moved the vets down a Cantina node. I don't know why people are upset about that. I'm happy that people can get JTR. She's just then she can rot on their roster just like she rots on mine. Right?
I farmed them twice at the high nodes. I'm still not happy.
So basically, what we have here is a little bit of saltiness.
A failure to
Oh.
communicate.
All the way to the bank.
Right?
I'm interested to see. So I'm reading through the paragraph. They say that basically breaks down the tiers. So the 3rd tier is going to be then join General Skywalker in taking on a familiar foe. So I'm curious to see what that is, and the what units they're going to give you. Because I'm sure they're going to be like Dagger said, they're anti-cheese. Here, you guys have to use this with this to get this. And
Yep.
it's not going to be easy.
I'm sure that they're punching the table just like you are, too.
What the hell? Technical issues. I don't know what's going on. I can't hear anything. I think I broke something. Oh no. If you guys can hear me, just keep going. What the heck? What in tarnation?
Commitment. It's like the Karth one. The Karth one you wanted to be as close to the bottom of that number as you could because the tunes all kind of were